video, you're going to see how to apply film to textured walls. What's great about the prep for these is you don't have to use soap and water. Obviously, you don't want to wet these because water will get in the porous surface and that'll compromise how the adhesive sticks for the long term. So basically, to clean them, if it's not super dirty, just take a medium gauge plastic brush, or if you want to get a lot of surface areas, you can use a standard broom. And basically, you're just going to wipe down the surface that you want to wrap. And if it's super dirty, maybe clean it the day before so it has time to dry, but you can see the porous surface there. And again, that can be tricky to hold the film for the long term, so you have to choose the right film. Not all films are warranted for these types of surfaces. And then most of the times the adhesive on these has a really high flow rate, so once you heat it up properly, it really conforms the film and holds for the long term. So again, make sure you do research on the type of film. This particular film is a 3M film, it's an Envision film, it's a urethane based film, so it's highly flexible, again with a different type of lamination that's going to flow deep inside here. Andy Sumner here is a trainer for 3M, is applying the film, and he's just basically setting it up, and because it's porous surface, you don't even have to use a squeegee here, you're just kind of setting it up with your hand. He's not really applying, he's more just kind of getting it on the wall. If it was more of a glazed textured surface, you'd want to use a squeegee, but in this case you can just really set it up by hand. Then it's all about having the right tools. This is what's called a TSA4 tool, and then you're also going to use a heat gun that has an has a digital readout on the back. You want to get up to exactly 1,000 degrees, and the reason why you get up to that temperature is you really want to set the film and make sure it conforms to those areas nice and clean. Before you really set the film, though, the very important first step is you just want to make sure you get the edges sealed. Again, it's not really kind of forming in there for the long term, just kind of sealing the edges and just getting it set up. Because he's going to go from side to side, and generally with these types of surfaces you want to start from the outside and then work into the graphic. So if you don't seal it there, sometimes it'll peel on the edge as you come in. Notice how he starts outside the edge and now comes across, and it's all about getting the right pace. You kind of think like a turtle here. You don't want to go super fast, and you also don't want to go super slow. So again, you're going to play with it and make sure you get the right temperature. In different surfaces you go a little slightly different pace, but you all pretty much go in the same ballpark speed. So again, it's all about getting the right speed and getting the right pace. You always want to overlap your strokes here with the roller by about 1 inch. So again, you're overlapping your strokes just to make sure you don't miss a section. And you really can tell if you're in the right spot by just looking at the surface, and it really conforms. You can see how tight it is in there to the surface. Really amazing material as it conforms in there. But again, heating it up to the right temperature is key. If it was a slightly lower temperature, it's not going to get in there deep enough. So that's why you have to have that digital readout on the back. And if you think post-heating, generally it's for 200 degrees Fahrenheit, around 90 Celsius. The reason why it's at 1,000 is because of the surface. It really kind of can take a lot of heat. So they've done research in labs for these types of materials, and if you're around 1,000 and you go at that pace, you really hit that sweet spot. And again, what Adam's explained here to me as he's putting it on is he's not applying a lot of pressure against the wall. The heat gun and the roller, and just by the natural weight of the tool itself, will do most of the work for you. So again, even though it's slow and steady wins the race here, because it's definitely going to take a lot of time. He says his arms don't get tired after a while, and he's going to show right now what happens if you go too fast. Right now he's going fast because he's thinking, oh, if you're an installer here, you're thinking, wow, this is taking too long, I want to apply fast, but you can really tell that it's just kind of floating on the surface, so this won't hold for the long term. You can tell the dramatic difference here in terms of how it is being applied. So even though you went quicker, it's going to fail, so that's not the right way to do it. Now he's going too slow, and you're going to see how the film can whiten and it really can cause burning if you go too slow. So you really want to hit that sweet spot. So that's why generally for these types of installs, you're going to charge a higher rate than you would if you, let's say, it's a flat wall install. You're not going to charge $2 a square foot. The going rate for these types of installs with this film is around $3 to $4 a square foot, just simply because it's just a slower process to apply than a wall. Then you also want to think for removal, though, just because it's a flat textured surface, it's not a mosaic, removal here is very easy. Low surface energy, the graphics pull off nice and easy, don't leave any type of residue. So again, your removal price will be very straightforward here, but again, charge more for the install just because it's nice and slow. But once you get it set up, you can see that the memory is killed in those areas, so that means it's conformed nice and easy for the long term. So again, peels off nice and easy. Really cool stuff, and again, just opens up your repertoire. And now for the wrap up. Again, for these textured surfaces, it's all about choosing the right film and using the right tools. Generally, the tools for these are a little more expensive than your average tools, but that's why you charge more per square foot. And also, it's a very slow, straightforward install. It's very easy to calculate install times. It's generally 2 inches a second, and the roller itself is about 2 inches wide. So again, if you're any good at math, just basically plug in the amount of square footage, do the calculation, and there you figure out how long it's going to take to install. Really nice to schedule a day based on that. Also very minimal prep and very easy removal. So again, the removal process and setup is nice and easy. So again, straightforward installs. Slow and steady wins the race. And for me, it's a great addition to your install catalog. Gives you a lot of different options both inside and outdoor. Thanks for watching. Justin Payton.